Hey guys, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. My name's Byron Nash.
And I'm Johnny Angel Hunt.
So we're here, talking about music and passion and things that we love about the arts and kind of bridging the gap of generations of music, the artists who created the stuff that we love, and just talking about all things musical, really.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, what have you been listening to, Jack?
You know what? This week I've been listening to one of my favorite albums. And mind if I show you?
Please do.
This is The 5 O'Clock World.
Oh.
And the reason I love this for a lot of reasons is Chuck Blasko is one of my dear friends.
Okay.
And we've worked together a lot. And I remember the first time, this is before I really knew Chuck, and I saw him on the Ed Sullivan Show, okay, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But
Wow.
their songs were just, they had a classiness to them. They were, in my opinion, they were the classy group in Pittsburgh. They're considered rock and roll, they're considered a little bit of soul, they're considered pop. But the thing about them was they were classy no matter what they did, right? And we'll talk about that. So I've been listening to this and some of their hits, like My Special Angel. I mean, everybody knows that. How many people had that their wedding song? You know what I mean? And 5 O'Clock World, You're the One, and the list goes on and on and on. And Chuck and the guys started with a local label here in Pittsburgh called CO and CE, which we'll talk about that later too. And I just love it because it is such a representation of what Pittsburgh's really all about.
Interesting. What year was this record out?
I believe this was in 65, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Let me see the back of that real quick. I'm such a record nerd. Well, you know what's interesting about vinyl was the way that they were laid out. So there were certain periods where you would have the whole bio on the back, and they kind of stopped doing that. And that's why I was curious about sort of the way the photography was on the front, and then they'll have the kind of the bio and the song listing on the back. I'm not sure when that stopped. Probably around the 70s. It kind of transitioned, so that's why I was curious about that.
And it became more pictures in the 70s, than anything, But back in when I'm a vinyl nut, as you well know.
Same.
And I would much rather listen to the original vinyl than anything that's digital, because and so when I listened to these, I remember hearing this for the very first time on my transistor radio. And then on my television, we didn't have a stereo television.
Awesome.
And
So,
what would you listen to this week?
Just like you, I'm a vinyl nut. I probably listen to vinyl more than anything, and I wanted to pay respects to the lovely Betty Davis. A lot of people don't know that she's actually from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And even though this cover is pretty intense, what I love about this is the intensity of who she was as a person.
Yeah.
Her music, funky, soulful, honest, gritty, you know. And a lot of people don't know that she was married to Miles Davis.
Yeah.
And the transition of Miles's style, not just like fashion-wise, but she really influenced that era. Like, so he started playing through a wah pedal.
Yeah.
That was her suggestion. So all of that kind of funkiness and edginess that kind of became part of what he did, it came from her.
Nice.
So, and I also think the thing about Betty Davis is that if you think about the Beyoncés and the Cardi B's and all the modern women who are doing a lot of things, even Madonna, because she was like kind of right before Madonna.
That's right.
When she was risque, she was doing it first, but there was a lot of oppression from the labels it was a little too much for them.
Yeah.
And so I think it set her back in the sense that she didn't have the freedom as, most artists do today. And I think that kind of ties into how social media plays a role in where artists are able to have a little bit more control over their image, the reach to the fans. Because you figure before, you needed a label, the manager, the promotion, all the marketing, all that stuff. Now you can literally start an Instagram, start a Facebook, and have direct connection to the fan base. And that's what's sort of a good transition industry-wise for artists to have a little bit more control over who they are, how they want to sound. Now you can record a song at your house, make it sound good, and put it out directly to the people. So I think that's sort of, I feel sorry for her in a sense that she wasn't able to be as well known. And rest in peace to her. She, recently passed away. But
I have an album of hers that I absolutely love. I have a couple of them, but the one I love, she's wearing these boots.
Up the air with the afro?
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and she really set an image, which I absolutely love. But getting back to what you said about the social media and so on, see, us older folks, I mean, when I did my very first record, we recorded at WRS Motion Picture Studios, right? 3 microphones. Okay, no second takes. You take it. If it wasn't good enough, you did it again. You know what I mean? So I was used to that kind of a studio thing. So then move forward in life. Now I'm recording with some other friends and so on.
Yeah.
And now you can actually record. I can record my part from my house, and they can mix it. You can have your bass player be from Philadelphia and your drummer from the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference. Which you didn't have that back in the day.
Yeah, it's interesting, and going back to the Vogues record, I picture people in the room on the same mic, and there's a chemistry thing about recording records like that back then, and I think you can really feel and hear that in the artistry of those artists from the past.
Absolutely. I think though, in my opinion, because I'm one of the older guys, right? I still think the old vinyl had more depth to it,
and character.
And character, yeah. And
digital can be a little cold.
Yes.
It can be a little sonically cold. So speaking of the Vogues, tell us about our next guest.
Coming up, I'll tell you what, my dear buddy, I've been wanting to do this with him for quite some time since I've opened the museum. And in the museum, I have a nice little dedication to the Vogues and to my friend Chuck. But coming up in just a minute, we're going to be talking with Chuck Blasko from the original Vogues.
Jack in the Box.
Hey, it's Jack here from Jack in the Box. This week I want to talk with you about the way you listen to your music, right? I know right now you're listening to your MP3s, right? But back in my day, what did we do? I'm talking about records, putting a needle on a record. I'm talking about going to a tape, reel-to-reel tape. I'm going to 8-tracks, which we're going to get in. 8-tracks right here, which had 4 different tracks. 8-track? Why do they call it 4-track? It's 4 tracks, but it's 8-track. Anyway, here you go. I'm having... a little bit of Rod Stewart today. I'm having a little bit of Fleetwood Mac and Tavares. And what happened if you didn't have your 8-track player? You could go to the beach with your portable 8-track player. Now, it's really cool because you take this tape, this little miniature tape, and you stick it in this box and your sounds come out. It's Ginchy stuff. Hey, welcome back. And right now, I'm going to introduce you to my buddy. This is Chuck Blasko from the original Vogues. And Chuck, this is my partner, Byron Nash. Right over here.
Byron Nash.
Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you.
Same to you. Thank you.
Now, this man here is a legend. I mean, he's seen everything. And I want to go back, not to your recordings, but some of the television appearances you made. Like, my biggest impression was when you were on the Big Ed show.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Ed Sullivan. It was all live. They had the orchestra in the pit. And that was, actually, I was scared.
That would be scary.
I mean, to have Big Ed introduce us. But it turned out great. We did Till, I believe it was, on Sullivan show. And he was a super
gracious
guy.
Yeah.
And we had to get back to Pittsburgh on a flight from New York back to Pittsburgh, and he said that at the end of what we did. He says, "I know you guys have to get back to Pittsburgh, so thank you for being on our show."
On the map, right?
Yeah.
But now that I got that out of the way, because I had to say that first, but let's go back to when it all started, because you guys are from Turtle Creek.
Turtle Creek.
Yeah, Turtle Creek.
The Pittsburgh in me comes out as Turtle Creek, and it's Turtle Creek. But tell me about growing up in Turtle Creek and how the Vogue started.
Well, actually, that was a small town. I think it was a population of 12,000, and we all went to school together.
Yes.
And it was our first recording was in 1959.
Yes.
And it was the
Bel-Airs, yes.
And we had just a regional hit with it, but we were on Coral Records.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of work with Clark Grace, Art Palin, different little shows. And then 2 of the guys got drafted into the service. And we hung around, had different jobs. Actually, I worked in the Westinghouse Air Brake machine shop. And the guys came back out from the service, and we got together again, but there was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
And we got hooked up with a local label, C Records.
Yes.
And we had our first hit with You're the One, which was written by Petula Clark and Tony Hatch.
Yeah.
And the ironic part about that, then we followed up with 5 O'Clock World, Magic Town, Land of Milk and Honey, then had a cooling off period, which everybody goes through, I guess.
Yeah.
And
But everybody's heard of 5 O'Clock World.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Byron?
I do. So I heard a fun fact about you that one of the songs was used in a popular show. Am I correct about this?
on what?
Drew Carey?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I hope that's real.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was his opening number.
How did that come about?
You know what? I'm really not sure. He's originally from Cleveland.
That's right.
And he actually loved 5 O'Clock World.
We'll bring him into the show so we have a little prop.
There it is. And he wanted that on his show for the opening number.
Did that attention by having that song included in the show, did that bring anything back to you guys?
Meaning?
Maybe fan base or even monetarily. Like, was that like a label thing that they decided? Do you guys make money off of anything like that, or how did that all come about?
Well, it was the owners of the songs.
Oh, I understand. I understand.
And it goes on, or did go on. Today, I don't think it goes on as much.
Yeah.
But back in the day, when you were growing up and had a hit record, that's all, that's our
that's right.
record. And but the business people behind you was...
Yeah, tell me about that. Like, these days with social media and everything, artists, we can kind of find our fan base now. Before, it seemed like the labels really had a stranglehold on that, and the artists didn't have as much power to get, there were gatekeepers. What was it like for you guys in that era, especially back then, to get yourself out there, and how did you navigate?
Well, you navigate the best you can mentally, and a lot of times you made mistakes, being that we weren't business people. But when we went with Warner's, from Co&C to Warner Brothers, that's when we got smart. Business-wise. And even at that point, a lot of things went on that shouldn't have. And it still goes on today.
Yeah, it does. It does.
When you talk about social media, our social media back in the day was radio and television, right?
Yeah,
that was
that's true.
And I remember seeing you on one of the dance shows.
In Pittsburgh.
No.
Oh. Yeah.
Was that Hullabaloo or was it
Hullabaloo,
Shindig?
Yeah, we did them all, really.
I remember the one thing, they had the machines working for 5 O'Clock World, and these were all scattered around with the sweaters.
That's great.
Yes.
That's so interesting, because I always imagined like it would be harder, back then. It seems, I think there's certain elements that I miss about it, like in the sense that, the artists got together, they worked together on the songs, they went in the studio, and it was sort of this connection. But then I could see it being really tough with the industry part of it, because you don't have exposure to the business and the legal parts, but you just want to do music, and they know that, and they can see the stars in your eyes. You're excited,
That's exactly. You hit the nail on the head. You come from a small town, and you work as a group for years trying to have a hit record. Finally, you have a hit record, and your royalties, that's going somewhere else, and you're out there performing.
If you were to give advice to a new artist, so even though the business has changed a bit and there's different elements, what would be like a tip for them? Someone coming up, even though they have social media, what would be some advice you would maybe give someone?
I would think you'd want to be represented by an attorney.
Okay. That's huge.
Yes, and an attorney that's on your side.
A music attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody that you trust, believe, and put your full faith in. And, he tells you, sign that contract, that's a good one. don't do
Don't
that.
sign that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Because when we grew up, or when we come through the business, the business was full of snakes.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean that bad or anything, but it was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people out there just robbed people.
Yeah.
Groups.
Mm-hmm.
It was not not good.
I can see
It's
that.
a new way for people to make money.
Yeah.
Not so much the singers and musicians.
Yeah. We were always told, well, you make your money on personal appearances.
Yeah.
But they were getting really wealthy.
Yeah,
selling
exactly.
records.
Yeah.
Chuck, here we go. I'm gonna throw some stuff at you, right? Tell me something old.
Old? Okay. Me. No. Something old. Of course, I think you were involved with the Golden Gloves,
Oh yeah.
and I was involved. I was boxing too,
Yeah.
out of Turtle Creek, and that brings back some good memories. For the simple fact is, I was in good shape and I was in young.
Yeah. Boxing will do it. Tell me about something new.
Something new would have to be the way recordings are done today. Like 5 O'Clock World and You're the One, they were done on a four-track reel-to-reel
Jeez.
machine. And today you got 34 tracks. And I know we went to Los Angeles when we first did Turn Around, Look at Me.
Mm-hmm.
In the studio, there was 48 live musicians.
Wow.
48. 8 4 and 4 on strings. As a matter of fact, we had the Wrecking Crew
Yeah.
that did all the rhythm section.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't do a session without them.
Yeah. Wow.
But that brings back a lot of good memories.
Sounds like it.
And Chuck, tell me something treasured.
Treasured would be I've been blessed with a wonderful career for 57 years.
Wow.
And I've not only a wonderful career, but 2 great kids. My wife I was blessed with, and friends like
Absolutely.
yourself. I mean, this business has its ups and downs, but
It's treasured.
it's treasured.
Absolutely.
Last thing. Tell me something true. Something that nobody knows about you. That's like, reveal something.
Let's see. I like to hunt and fish. I don't know if anybody
Yeah, I
knows
mean,
that.
that's true.
But that's all I do.
Yeah.
That's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Hunt and fish. I'm normally in Bedford, PA,
Oh wow.
fishing the streams up there. And I help the Pennsylvania Fish Commission stock all the streams.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I know where the fish are.
He's
And I
got
catch
the
'em all.
secrets. That's more than true. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. It was
Appreciate
a
it. It's
real
an honor
pleasure.
to meet you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it, Chuck. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
All right. Stay tuned for a little bit of music here. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Byrons Bodega. Last episode, I was talking about the Rock and Roll Reporter, which was a local magazine that I ended up working at. There is where I had the experience of taking photos of national artists. And one of the most memorable moments I had was when Smokey Robinson was in town. He was doing like vocal overdubs for the Temptations movie or something like that. And we had access to the studio they were filming at, and I was sent there to film. So get a couple photos, and I got to watch him in the studio, be a super professional, do his takes, knock them out right there. And this is a picture of us together after his whole session. Here's a snippet of him doing his takes and going over the parts. But what's crazy is that fast forward, this is probably 1998, I ended up playing a private dinner for Smokey Robinson like 3 times. So it's just weird how life has come full circle, but I'm really grateful for the Rock and Roll Reporter for that experience.
Yep.
They'll just kind of vibe out and do the thing and have fun with it.
You got
Yeah.
it.
All right, Spielberg.
Action.
Does that bring back memories? every morning just to keep a job. Fighting my way through the hustle and mob. Sounds of the city pounding in my brain. But another day goes down the drain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 5 o'clock world when the whistle blows. No one knows a piece of my time. And then put me inside my clothes, thinking that the world is mine. Yeah, young lady.
Funny stuff.
That's my favorite part of this history lesson today, guys.
Hey, we want to thank
Again,
you all for
thank
listening.
you.
Once again, thanks
Thank
to
you.
Chuck Blasko. Thank you, brother.
Oh, my buddy.
Thank you for watching Bridging the Gap. I'm Byron Nash.
I'm Jack Johnny Angel Hunt.
And I'm Chuck Blasko.
See you guys. Signing off.